Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Arunodayam's Biology. Today we are going to learn about a transportation topic from life process chapter. Transportation from life process chapter, that to part 2. So already part 1 video is there. So in part 1 video we have learnt a detailed explanation of our pumping system, that is heart. So we have learnt that transportation has a pumping system, heart, blood vessels and blood. Okay, so in our previous video we have learned something about heart. So now in this part 2 video we are going to learn a few more things about our pumping system, heart, and we are going to learn about blood vessels, blood, platelets, lymph, etc. Let us start. Oxygen enters the blood in the lungs. So already we have seen that our heart contains, right side of our heart contains deoxygenated blood and left side of our heart contains oxygenated blood, isn't it? Deoxygenated blood means the blood containing carbon dioxide, and oxygenated blood means it contains oxygen. Okay, so right side of our heart contains deoxygenated blood and left side of heart contains oxygenated blood. So these two types of blood are not mixing in our heart, isn't it? So this separating wall is preventing their mixing. This separating wall is called as a septa. So this septa is preventing the mixing of deoxygenated blood in right side with that of the oxygenated blood in the left side. So because of this prevention of mixing of two types of blood, it allows high efficient supply of oxygen to the body. Because of the prevention of mixing the two types of blood, we are having high efficient supply of oxygen to our body. We are taking a more amount of oxygen from lungs. Okay, in case of higher vertebrates like birds and mammals are considered as higher vertebrates actually. Why? Because their body contains a highly developed and highly evolved organ systems, isn't it? Our nervous system, digestive system, excretory system, all these are highly evolved and highly developed when compared to other organisms. So birds and mammals are higher vertebrates, and in these animals, the heart is four chambered, and the septa are present in the heart to prevent the mixing of these two type of blood. Because of this, only birds and mammals are called as a warm-blooded animals, or they are also called as homeothermic animals. Why? Because birds and mammals, because of this high efficient supply of oxygen, they can maintain even temperature, or they can maintain constant temperature in their body irrespective of the temperature present outside in the environment. Okay, whatever the temperature outside may be, the temperature of our body maximum remains constant. 98.4 degree Fahrenheit of temperature is constantly maintaining in our body. Somewhat it fluctuates and causes fever. Okay, this is because of the high efficient supply of oxygen in them. This is because of prevention of mixing of these two type of blood in their body with in the heart with the help of septa. Okay, and why only in the higher vertebrates the heart is having septa and it is preventing the mixing of blood means these organisms has high developed organ systems now, so they need more energy to perform life process. More energy, they need more energy to perform life process. So in order to get more energy, they'll take more oxygen also. That's why we are maintaining our body temperature constant. Okay, whereas in case of lower vertebrates like amphibians, reptiles, spices, that means fishes, they are called as cold blooded animals. Actually, they are cold blooded animals. Why? Because they are also called as poikilothermic animals. Why? Because their body temperature is not constant. Their body temperature always fluctuates according to the temperature outside their body. Their temperature, their body temperature is depending on the temperature outside of their body. Why? Because their heart contains only three chambers. Actually, amphibians and reptiles contains only three chambered heart. So the deoxygenated blood in right side and oxygenated blood in the left side, both of them will mix in ventricles. There is no chance to remain separate. So because of this mixing, they do not have a high they do not have high efficient supply of oxygen. That means their energy levels are little bit low when compared to birds and mammals. That's why they cannot remain their blood temperature constantly. Okay, because of the mixing of the blood, they do not have high efficiency of oxygen, so that their body temperature always fluctuates according to the external environmental temperature. Coming to fishes, usually fishes have only two chambered heart. The heart has only two chambers, one atrium and one ventricle. So in case of fishes, the deoxygenated blood from body parts is carried to the heart, and from the heart the deoxygenated blood is passed to gills for oxygenation. In case of fishes, they do not contain the lungs, isn't it? Fishes do not contain lungs, so they have gills instead. So this deoxygenated blood from heart is passed on to gills for oxygenation. So in gills, exchange of gases takes place. Carbon dioxide which is present in the blood moves towards water, and the oxygen which is present in the water, dissolved oxygen which is present in the water, enters into blood. Now this oxygenated blood from gills will not again reach heart. It will directly distributed to all the body parts of fishes. Okay, so here the deoxygenated blood from body parts is passed on to heart. From heart the blood is passing on to gills, and here oxygenation taking place, and from the gills the blood is directly distributing to the body parts. So here the blood is flowing only once through the heart. That type of circulation is called as a single circulation which we can see only in fishes. Okay, whereas in case of all other vertebrates, we have five types of vertebrates. First one, fishes. So here in fishes we can see single circulation, and next four types of vertebrates are amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. So in all these other vertebrates, blood passes twice through the heart. So blood passes two times through the heart. That type of circulation is called as a double circulation. So we can see double circulation here. See, first the deoxygenated blood from body parts is passed on to heart, to the right side of the heart, isn't it? Through blood vessels. So the blood vessels are bringing deoxygenated blood to the right side of the heart. Here this is right atrium. From here the blood is passing to right ventricle. From here the blood is passed on to lungs for oxygenation. So here oxygenation takes place. The oxygenated blood from lungs passes on to the left side of the heart, isn't it? So it enters into left atrium, then into left ventricle. So from left ventricle the blood is passed on to the different parts of our body. So here the blood is passing twice through the heart, isn't it? Once from body parts to heart, heart to lungs. Second time from lungs to heart, heart to body parts. So as the blood is passing twice through the heart, this type of circulation is called a double circulation. Double circulation which we can see in all vertebrates except fishes. Why? Because in fishes we can see single circulation. Okay. Now let us learn about the tubes, blood vessels present in our body. So already we have learned that transportation has three topics we have to cover. So first one is the pumping organ, that is heart. Already we have completed. Second one is tubes, that means blood vessels. Okay, so totally three types of blood vessels are present in our body: arteries, veins, and blood capillaries. Three types of blood vessels are present. Let us learn one by one. First one, arteries. Arteries. So arteries are the blood vessels which carries blood from heart to our body parts. So in case of our body, arteries carries blood from heart to body parts. As they are receiving blood directly from the heart, the blood in them has very high pressure. The heart will pump blood with more pressure. They will push the blood with some pressure into arteries. Heart pumps blood with some pressure into arteries. So in order to withstand that pressure, the walls of arteries are very thick in nature. Okay, the walls of arteries are very thick in nature in order to withstand the pressure exerted by the heart. Okay. Next, second type of blood vessels are veins. Veins. They always carry blood from body parts to heart. From body parts to heart. So as they are receiving blood from body parts, comparatively the blood has very low pressure. When we compare the blood in arteries with veins, the blood in veins have very low pressure. So they need not to have high or thick walls. So the walls of veins are very thin in nature as the pressure in the blood is very low in them. Okay, the walls are very thin in nature. They take blood from body parts and passes it to heart. And in addition to this, the veins have valves in them actually. These valves help in a one-way flow of blood. That means blood flows only from body parts to heart. It will not travel or it will not flow backward. Okay, to prevent the backward flow of blood and to allow only one direction flow of blood, these veins have valves also. Okay, third type of blood vessels are blood capillaries. These blood capillaries are formed by arteries and veins itself. So arteries, after reaching a particular organ or cells, they divides into so many branches, hair like branches called as blood capillaries. Arteries, after reaching organs, they divides into minute hair like branches called as blood capillaries, and these blood capillaries are attached to the cells. So the useful substances which are present in the blood will get exchanged with waste materials in the cells. The useful substances which are present in the blood which is carried by artery enters into cells, and the waste materials which are present in the cells will enter into these capillaries which are produced by veins actually. Okay, these capillaries are produced by veins, or else we can say that these branches of arteries will continue as these blood capillaries and joins as veins. Okay, so the waste materials will enter into these blood capillaries, and from there they will join into a blood vessel called vein, and from vein the blood is carried to heart. So this is how blood is transported in our body. Okay, arteries carries blood from heart to body parts. They have thick walls to withstand pressure. Veins carries blood from body parts to heart. They have less pressure and have valves also. And the arteries divides into so many branches called blood capillaries, which gives useful substances to cells, and waste substances again enters into blood capillaries and join together to form a vein, and from the vein the blood is passed on to heart. So this is what happens in our body. This is how circulation takes place from heart to body parts in our body through blood vessels. Next, moving on to blood corpuscles, that is blood platelets. So we have learned that we have three types of blood corpuscles in our blood: red blood cells, white blood cells, and blood platelets, isn't it? So now we are focusing on blood platelets. Blood platelets. See what happens if the system of tubes develop a leak. So already we have learnt about a tube system. No, we have three types of blood vessels we have learnt. So what happens if those blood vessels develop a leak? What happens if they are injured? What happens if they start bleeding? If we have any injury, generally we start bleeding, isn't it? So as soon as possible, naturally our body has to stop the loss of blood. Naturally our body has to minimize the loss of blood. So how it will takes place? With the help of these blood platelets. Actually during the leakages, there is in addition to the leakage, the efficiency of pumping system will also get affected. So the blood will pass with some pressure in the blood vessels, isn't it? If the blood vessel has any leakage, the pressure will get affected. At the same time, efficiency of pumping system also affects. So in order to avoid all these disasters, our blood contains some cells called as blood platelets, which help in clotting of blood during injuries. So what they will do is these blood platelets will present in the blood and circulate along with the blood throughout the body. Whenever there is a leakage or whenever there is an injury, these blood platelets will accumulate at the site of injury. They will plug in, they will seal the leakage, and they will clot the blood there to prevent the further loss of blood. See, this is the blood vessel. Here it has some leakage, the blood is moving out, that is we are losing some blood. So what happens here is blood platelets are present in the blood. No, these platelets accumulate here, they seal the leak here, isn't it? And they clot the blood here. So because of this, there is no further loss of blood. So by doing like this, the blood platelets help us from blood loss during severe injuries also. The blood platelets help in clotting of blood during severe injuries. So that is about blood platelets. Moving on to our next topic, that is lymph. So we have discussed about blood, isn't it? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Okay, it helps in the transportation of various substances from one part of our body to the other part. So just like blood, lymph is also a fluid which also helps in the transportation of substances. Okay, actually lymph is produced from the holes of blood capillaries. So we have blood capillaries now. So from these blood capillaries already have holes actually. from these holes some substance will come out of the capillaries. So actually blood flows through these blood capillaries and passes some useful substances to the cells, isn't it? While passing through the blood capillaries, some amount of fluid will come out of the blood capillaries through the holes present on it. This fluid is nothing but lymph or a tissue fluid. Lymph or a tissue fluid. This tissue fluid will passes through the intercellular spaces present in our body. Intercellular space means the space present between the cells. So the substance is leaked out from the blood capillaries and it passes through the intercellular spaces and enters into lymphatic capillaries. Just like our blood capillaries, lymphatic capillaries are also present. So this tissue fluid enters into lymphatic capillaries, and from the lymphatic capillaries they will enter into a lymphatic vessel. Actually here I did not represent. So just like our veins, lymphatic vessels are also present in our body. So lymphatic system is present parallel to venous system. Wherever veins are present in our body, parallel to it lymphatic vessels are present actually. So the tissue fluid which entered into the lymphatic capillaries enters into a lymphatic vessel, and finally the lymphatic vessels joins with the veins. Okay, that is the story of lymph. So what are the substances present in lymph? Plasma, proteins and blood cells are present in it. So some substances like plasma, proteins and some blood cells will escape from blood capillaries and enters into this tissue fluid. Okay, actually lymph looks similar to plasma, but it is colorless in nature and contains less protein also. Actually it looks like plasma, but it is colorless in nature and it contains less protein. And what is the function of lymph is it carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine. So actually in the intestine a food gets absorbed now into the blood, so that digested and absorbed fat is carried out by these lymphatic vessels, carried out by this lymph. Okay, and it also carries extra fluid from the extracellular spaces back into the blood. If any extracellular fluid is present in between the cells, then the lymph will carry that fluid and provides it back to the blood. And it plays a main role in immune system also. Lymphatic system plays a main role in immune system. So that is about our lymph. So that is our topic, transportation. So in transportation we have learned about three components: pumping organ heart, tubes blood vessels, and we have learned about lymph. Okay, we have learned about platelets also. So that is about our topic. So I am winding up. If you have any doubts, please ask me in comment section. I will clarify your doubts. And if you want any related explanation topic, videos are available in my transportation playlist. Actually in CBSE syllabus these topics are briefly explained. Detailed explanations are there in state syllabus, in old syllabus, so you can watch them in transportation playlist. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Jai Hind.